On. Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching, always encouraging self-reliance. If you develop a marketable skill, chase that skill with a solid work ethic. Always go the extra mile, develop people and communication skills. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish in this country. I have with me a guy who's been a longtime friend, uh, outstanding coach in so many ways, and he's going to kind of give us his story here. And it's Coach Rob Miller, who is back at West York as far as football is concerned. So, Coach, welcome, and tell us a little bit about your journey and how things are rolling for you, sir.
Sure. Again, thanks so much for having me. And this will be actually the first time I'll be sharing this story in this type of setting. So, if pardon me if I'm a little nervous, but I think it's absolutely worth sharing. I'm not going to talk too much about my past up until the last 2 years, but what I will say is that I've been very blessed through athletic and sports and the people and the connections that I've made, mostly through the football world. And I mean, some of the times I just shake my head with some of the experiences I've been able to have. In addition to that, I've been fortunate to be part of some great schools, and was fortunate to have, you know, I would consider a historic run at West York High School my first time around. During that time, my ego was cranking. You know, the York Daily Record and the Dispatch, and a lot more news coverage. It was a lot different media wise. The pressure to win, which I created on my own, as I realize and look back now. You know, we'd win 13 games. I mean, we won 13 games one year and lost one. And if you ask me what game I remember the most, it will be the one we lost. And I'm sure many coaches have said that, but what it was starting to do was create a pressure that I couldn't sleep. It was just nonstop, more. And as that was going, I was drinking more alcohol, and I am disposed to that type of thing, family history and those things, but I didn't know any of that. I just was going. Ego was wild. Just a lot of false confidence now that I look back at it, but I was doing things that were taking me down a dark road, and that kind of happened 2 Februarys ago on Valentine's Day, the day before my wife's birthday. Actually, I entered a facility to address my problem, and probably the second night in there, I think all those lessons and all those coaches and the lessons that I've learned through suffering and pain and getting through things, I made a decision at that. I can remember the moment like it was yesterday, that no matter what, I would never, ever, ever be in this position. And from that moment on, I've started a journey of recovery and also self-growth. Within that framework, I spent a lot of time alone, did a lot of things to help myself mentally, a lot of spiritual work, as well as the physical part, which I'm embarking on pretty heavily as we speak. What I found was being grateful was something that really got me through a lot, but also service. One of the things of giving of myself, and I worked at golf courses. I still will work at Heritage Hills for no money, but it was serving others and helping people. It was working at another golf course, and it provided me with a lot of time. And one thing that started percolating again was my love of football and the sport. But more importantly than the sport was the understanding as a teacher at a very large district in York County, and working with the clientele that I did. I could see and feel the young people that were struggling, and it's not alcohols and drugs, and unfortunately in some cases it may be those things, but it's much more. It's nonstop. It's the phone. It's the lack of sleep. It's the dietary parts of the things that I learned through my journey, and thought, what better way to impart it with a skill set that I have, and football is something that I love, something that I can do. I feel pretty well, and I've been on the field for 47 years now, and I've been fortunate to be around legendary coaches and have been impacted by so many great people that I have that skill set, and coupling the lessons I learned and the things I was learning through my mental health recovery as well was, wait a second, all these lessons that I learned on the field kind of apply to everything that we learn in life.
Sure.
As I looked at West York and football started percolating, my wife and I had the conversation, and I said, I think that's the avenue, but I'll only do it one place, and that's West York. The reason I said that, I believe, is just number one, the comfort that I have there, the love I have for that school. And in some ways, as I look at the football program, we kind of paralleled each other. Ron Miller and West York football, we were kind of, going through some times and difficult times and transitions and changes, and got to a pretty tough spot. So as I look at the frustrations and the losses that we had, 0-10, in my life, I never thought ever that could be possible to go 0-10, especially as a coach that has coached at the level that I have in the past. But what I've come to learn and truly mean is, if people could see the growth that we've had off the field, my saying is 1-0, and I live it. I mean, I have to go 1-0 in regards to my recovery, and 1-0 to me means becoming a better human being, at least in some facet, way, shape, or form every day. And what I've seen a bunch of young, and we are a very young football team, 14, 15-year-old, 16-year-old boys develop in just a short time, and to see please and thank yous, and to get text messages and emails from teachers because of the behaviors and the attitudes that those young men are bringing. It's a very gratifying win in those senses. I think the problem becomes because of when we allow the outside forces of 0-10 and win. And I'm able now, because of the lessons I've learned, to keep those at bay and stay focused on what's important. And that's impacting these young men's lives in a way that will positively benefit them in the future.
Sure. Well, and I think we're on the same page, Coach, that, the most important thing about sports, a lot of the vast majority of kids playing sports in school are not going to make the major leagues. They're not going to make the Olympics. You may have an Olympian from your school with Trinity Thomas.
Right.
We'll be finding out whether or not she's going to go on for that or not. But the point being, it's a very small amount. So the super valuable things are the other life lessons, without a doubt.
Yeah, I honestly don't think we're having this conversation. I don't know that I'm even here on earth anymore if it weren't from those lessons, to be very honest with you. And you just don't understand and appreciate them until you really take a step back and look at the things that you learn from sport, the connections, the relationships, all those things that are just so valuable. You can't put a price on it. And as we fight technology and we fight the craziness around us, the simplest thing about sport is you literally get what you put into it, and
Yes.
you may not be Trinity, you may not be a Chance Marcel or a Courtney Harnish, you may not be that level of, but you are going to find a way to be highly successful in whatever avenue you take. And that's what we're trying to impart. As I'm blessed with my coaching staff. They buy into the lessons we're teaching. And, we do so much community service, and those things and those lessons are just so valuable. And the football will come. That's the fun part for me now. That is the true enjoyment of my life, is when I'm on the field with those guys.
Yeah. So well said, Coach. So well said. Coach, this has been wonderful. Any last second thoughts here? And can you hang around afterwards?
The only thing I would like to say is, to anybody that feels themselves in the world of sports, athletes or coaches that feel that immense pressure to do so much more, please, ask your teachers, your coaches, talk to people you trust. there's a lot of us out here. I'm available. I would always be willing. It doesn't matter what school you're in. It's a tough world that our young folks are living in, and I appreciate all of them. I celebrate their successes, and I'm there to pick them up when they're down. But yeah, there's a lot of great humans that can help young people, and just encouraging young people to use us.
Yeah. Couldn't say it any better than that, Coach. So, can you hang for a second when we finish here?
Absolutely, I would love to.
Great, thank you, Coach.